Hello and welcome Universe Mode. This is a very, very, very late A-show ECW. Yes, it's late, but the idea behind it? We wanted to make you wait for the greatest show of the week. We believe that the greatest show of the week should not come halfway through the week, but rather at the end. As a celebration of making it to the end of the week and celebrating the weekend, why not celebrate it with the greatest show there is, ECW? But nevertheless, with One Night Stand just a few days away, let's talk about our huge main event here tonight. A tag team matchup, Samoa Joe and AJ Styles set the team up against Seth Rollins and a partner of his choosing. The only problem? Braun Strowman is not allowed to be Seth Rollins' partner for this matchup here tonight. In fact, Braun Strowman is at the Wyatt complex, training with Bray Wyatt to get ready for his huge match this Sunday against Samoa Joe. So that being said, Seth Rollins may have some difficulties trying to find a partner for tonight. But nevertheless, we've got an interesting card to go through. So without further ado, let's start the best show of the week. Alright, we're going to kick things off with some pretty interesting action between the premier athlete Tony Nese and the ECW television champion Dean Ambrose. Last week we watched this man and his incredible arm successfully defeat the #1 contender to the ECW championship, Wade Barrett. So the idea here tonight is that if Tony Nese can defeat Dean Ambrose one-on-one, then Nese will be entered into that television championship match at One Night Stand, therefore making it a triple threat contest for the ECW television championship. Big opportunity here in his career for Tony Nese. Early on in ECW, he already has the chance to go ahead and win a championship, win potentially, well, another championship opportunity, of course, because when he made his debut within this universe, he had the there we go. He had the potentiality to win the Cruiserweight Championship. He came just a little, well, he came close, but he was just a little too far away to capture. That's the choice of words I'm looking for. So, with that being said, Nese now has to fight the lunatic fringe Dean Ambrose, but there's a bit of a problem between these two men, because at the end of the match last week, following his victory, Ambrose came out and attacked Nese, laying him out in the middle of the ring with a dirty deeds, seemingly somehow or some way the lunatic fringe sending a message to Tony Nese, which can only be interpreted as, this is my division, in a way, I suppose. I mean, I don't want to say only being interpreted, there are OPIs out there, but the interpretation that I got from it was, this is my division, I am your champion. Kind of learn your place type thing. Or it's Dean Ambrose being a total lunatic and just deciding, you know what, I'm just going to DDT him for the sake of it. But nevertheless, we are going to kick things off with this matchup. Wade Barrett, you got to imagine, is watching somewhere backstage at this one. Not just Dean Ambrose, of course, but Tony Nese as well, as Nese could be an opponent at this Sunday's pay-per-view. So here we go, this matchup gets underway, and interesting to see if Nese can hold his own against the champion. Be interesting to see what Tony Nese can bring to the table here, and perhaps the biggest match he's had so far. I know he's taken on someone who's main evented WrestleMania and who's won the Royal Rumble, but Dean Ambrose is a former WWE champion, former United States and Intercontinental champion as well. And now, of course, the current ECW television champion. But what is on tap for you for the rest of the night? Well, after this, we have a tag team matchup occurring between D.I.Y, a tag team in that Fatal 4-Way matchup last week we had to determine the #1 contender for the ECW tag team titles. That was, of course, won by the Authors of Pain, but they'll be in that matchup taking on the Dirty Heels themselves, Austin Aries and Curtis Axel, in actually their first tag team matchup in over a month, which could mean there may be some problems between the two due to the fact that they haven't teamed up together in quite some time. Then following that, we of course found out the winner of the Cruiserweight Classic very recently, that being Suicide. Suicide this Sunday will challenge Akira Tozawa for the Cruiserweight Championship, and Tozawa has stated that he basically wants to hold an open challenge. He wants to see who will step up to the plate. He wants a good, fresh challenge heading into this Sunday, so he can feel confident about himself when he gets ready to defend that Cruiserweight Championship. So that could be an interesting matchup. Who knows who may step up to the plate for that one. May see some Cruiserweights on this brand. May see Hideo Itami. Could see a Gregory Helms. Maybe even the former Cruiserweight champion Dean Malenko. It'll be Very interesting to see what will take place there. Then, just before our main event, we've got Sheamus and Neville going one-on-one. Both men, of course, almost been a little bit kind of stuck. I don't know what the best phrase to use is, but they've kind of been overlooked. There we go. Since the arrival of new talent to this brand, and wanted to make sure that they are not totally ignored. So, in that matchup, we'll be seeing two former tag team champions going up against each other. Tag team champions with one another, now turning into enemies. And then, of course, for our main event, as previously discussed, Joe Styles, Rollins, and a tag team partner of his choosing. Be interesting to see who he is going to pick for that one. As Dean Ambrose hits an old school Dirty Deeds there onto Tony Nese, but as times have changed, apparently Dean Ambrose doesn't think that's enough to get him the win anymore. Nice big boot in the face by Tony Nese, hoping for something here. Ew, like a Blue Thunderbomb. Nese into the cover, hoping it's enough to keep Ambrose down. Not the case. Oh, blocked that kick there. Very nicely done by Dean Ambrose, who's now looking to unwail slightly with a few strikes. Nese stuffs it, but is sent stumbling back. A little bit of back and forth when it comes to strikes between both men right now. Nese not afraid to get it down with the television champion, but there's the power of Tony Nese. Planting Dean Ambrose down on the mat, but Ambrose's response is just roll out of the ring to catch his breath for a few moments. Russian leg sweep there on the outside. The referee's count begins now. Ambrose quickly forces both of them back into the ring. What will we see here from the Lunatic Fringe? He's got to have something in mind. Ambrose's arrival on ECW has been fairly explosive since he showed up and captured that television championship. And there's the Lunatic Lariat planting down Tony Nese. Will we be seeing it already? Is Nese in trouble? And is Nese about to be denied an opportunity? No, he reverses it. Tony Nese does want that chance. He wants to go on to one night stand. Great reversal there. The Dirty Deeds by Nese, who's going to go up top. Might look for that 450 splash now onto Ambrose. He can hit it. This is going to be big. 450. Missed. Ambrose saw it incoming and got out of the way. What will Dean Ambrose look for now? He's going to take Tony Nese back to the ropes. May look for it once more. You think Nese would learn his lesson? Don't turn around on Dean Ambrose. Another Lunatic Lariat to be followed up. Surely this time, Ambrose is going to get it. Nese in trouble with a Dirty Deeds. DDT. Down goes Nese. And 1, 2, 3. Dean Ambrose victorious. Meaning this Sunday, sadly for Tony Nese, is going to be a one-on-one contest for the ECW Television Championship. Nice little way to start things off though on ECW. Good win for Ambrose as well. I was about to say as he gets ready to build momentum against Wade Barrett for this Sunday, but here comes Barrett right now. Ambrose looking to try and fight him here, but Barrett trying to get the upper hand on the man who he faces in a rematch for the championship this Sunday. Wade Barrett lays him out there with the winds of change. Dean Ambrose may be in deep, deep trouble here. Wade Barrett with a bull hammer that's reversed. Ambrose reverses it and gives him a taste of his own medicine. Dirty Deeds. Whoa, okay, never mind. Incredible job to flip out of it. Ambrose a little bit stunned and dazed from it. Decked with the bull hammer. Wade Barrett almost got caught with the Dirty Deeds, but found his way out of it. If he could find his way out of it like that this Sunday, he could become a 3-time ECW television champion. However, Dean Ambrose now with more motive to hold on to that championship and to back away Wade Barrett's opportunity of winning that championship once more. This Sunday, looking a bit personal between these two now. The enragement of Wade Barrett versus the wild, wacky side, the lunatic that is Dean Ambrose. Definitely don't think you should be missing that one, but we're going to move on to our next contest now, as we're going to watch D.I.Y take on the Dirty Heels. This upcoming tag team match has always been one that I've had a real interesting. I've always wanted to see these two teams go at it, as D.I.Y very happy to be here right now for whatever reason. Didn't expect them to be this happy heading towards the ring, but I've been looking forward to a D.I.Y Dirty Heels match for some time. All 4 men in this matchup are talented. They all possess some incredible traits to them, and I think that they're all... It's just something about them. As tag teams as well, it's always great to see them. This is D.I.Y's first time teaming up, though, in some time. I think it may even be before King of the Ring was the last time we may have seen them team up. So that's almost 3 months. So both teams in this matchup with kind of an inexperience towards being a tag team, well, just wrestling a tag team matchup. The last time the Dirty Heels were in tag team action, they were winning the ECW tag team titles. This Sunday, of course, they've got to defend them against the Authors of Pain, which is going to be one difficult affair. Here comes Curtis Axel, man with the most ECW World Tag Team title reigns. Well, the ECW Tag Team titles, what I should call them. I don't know why I've added World. It's because the fucking belt has them. So, Axel with the most ECW Tag Team title reigns now at 3, all with 3 different people as well. One with his father, Mr. Perfect. One with a short-lived Tag Team Championship reign with EC3. And now this one, of course, is a member of the Dirty Heels with Austin Aries. So as Axel heads towards the ring, you've got to think what is going through the Dirty Heels mindset, making sure they click as a tag team, making sure everything really works well. And if everything goes well in that aspect, nothing can really fail between them as a wrestler, doing their jobs. So, with that being said, I think so long as they can, as long as they can click as a tag team, they can really take the fight to D.I.Y. Maybe a difficult affair, though, because D.I.Y is such a talented team, but then again, like I said, they haven't been teaming together for ages. First time they've been on TV teaming with one another in nearly 3 months now. May even be longer, I'm not too sure, but here comes, anyway, the Grand Slam champion, finally. A-double Austin Aries. Took him long enough to become a Grand Slam champion. He deserved it all the way. And now he heads towards the ring. First time we've seen Aries since the main event between himself and Seth Rollins a few weeks back. But he's here now. He's ready to do battle against D.I.Y here tonight. And then he's ready to do battle against the Authors of Pain this Sunday. It has taken Austin Aries a long time to become a Grand Slam champion, a long time to get that ECW Tag Team title around his waist. Now, I think Aries' biggest problem and his strongest thing that he's got to think about in his mind is that he doesn't lose that Tag Team title. Because it's taken him so long to win it. He has waited so long to hold this just to be called a Grand Slam champion and truly be labeled as one of the greatest men that ever lived. If the Authors of Pain would just snap it away from them this Sunday, imagine how that would make them feel. Imagine the pain that would cause to Austin Aries and Axel, especially with how long they've been a team as well in this universe and how long it has taken them to acquire those ECW Tag Team titles. That being said, if D.I.Y was to get a win here tonight and if the Authors of Pain were to lose this Sunday, we may see this matchup taking place in the next ECW pay-per-view. They have, getting a win over the Tag Team Champions is kind of all the credentials you need to become #1 contenders in this division. And with this Tag Team division now shaping up quite a bit more recently with the arrival of numerous new teams. We've seen the reemergence of the Usos, the Authors of Pain. They've shown up on the scene and really brought a name about themselves. We've got this new member of the Wyatt family who Bray Wyatt claims is on the way at some point. We've just got to kind of wonder when, and I think they will all add in their own way to the Tag Team division that we already have here. One of the best, of course. No. The best Tag Team division. Because it is a part of the best brand within this universe. With the best ECW champion in Seth Rollins. And also the best champion in this entire universe in Seth Rollins. And of course, in due time, I will get around to talking about how great Seth Rollins is. I'd love to talk about how great Seth Rollins is for this entire broadcast. And hell, if I could, I would. But you know what? I'm a professional. It is my job to call this show to the best of my abilities. It is my job to proclaim about how great of a brand we have. And it is also my job to sabotage the other brands that I'm on, particularly that dull affair over on Raw. So with that being said, right now, got to give credit to Gargano so far in this matchup. Really done a good job of countering what the Dirty Heels have been able to execute within this match, almost silencing what they've been able to do. Good reversal there by Johnny Gargano. Sends Aries back into the turnbuckle. Tag made. In comes Ciampa. What are we going to see here from D.I.Y? Nice move. Samoan drop neck breaker combo. First cover of the match. Looks like it's on its way. Quickly removing Axel from the ring. But Ciampa's only able to... I don't even know if he scrambled a 2 count actually. Aries and Ciampa now going at it. 2 former Cruiserweight champions. This is a very interesting affair. 2 very, very skilled wrestlers as well. In fact, well, like I said, all 4 of these men in this ring are skilled wrestlers. Rake of the eyes. Aries looks like... Oh, it looked like he was lining up something and then just stopped right after it. Got him draped over that rope here. Can use it to choke. Ciampa if he feels so. What are we going to see here? Oh, using the middle rope, I should say, is kind of a whiplash effect onto Tommaso Ciampa there. His neck snapping into it and may have disorientated him. Maybe causing some pain in the... well within his neck. Aries going to look to try and capitalize on it here. Kick in the gut by Austin Aries. Can he lift him up for the Brainbuster? He will. Brainbuster on the way. No. Ciampa finds the way out of it. Tommaso Ciampa back on the pace here. How will Ciampa now be able to turn this matchup back into D.I.Y's favor? Fireman's carry, Pele kick. Very nicely done by the former Cruiserweight champion, who's quick to take up to the top rope here. Ciampa, nice splash. Onto the proclaimed. Oh wow, proclaimed. There we go. Greatest man that ever lived. Sling blade there. Aries down. The Dirty Heels looking in a little bit of trouble right now as D.I.Y have their way with the former 4-time world champion. Overall, of course. All combined reigns. Aries with him in the corner, in enemy territory as well, with a tornado DDT to Ciampa. I think Aries should use this to tag in Axel. Looks as if he's about to do just that. Tag made. Curtis Axel into the ring now. And Axel going right for a neck breaker, perhaps trying to capitalize on the whiplash effect that we saw earlier in the matchup. Cover here, only managing a 1 count though. It's also good for Axel to go on the neck, of course, for the turning heads. That can really cause a kind of a snap effect within the neck, really. Certainly could keep Ciampa down for the 3 count. Axel now, Tree of Woe position for Ciampa. Oh, digging his boot into the face there. Nothing clean about that. Nothing respectful to be said about that either. But that is the mentality that the Dirty Heels have. And remember, we can't exactly gloss over who the Dirty Heels defeated to become ECW Tag Team Champions. Knocking off the Ascension to win those tag team titles is an incredible feat. No matter who you are, what a wheelbarrow German suplex that was by Curtis Axel. Looking perhaps for his signature maneuver, but Ciampa denies it. Follows up with a DDT as well to floor Axel down for that a little bit longer so he can make the tag. Back in now is Gargano. What can Johnny Wrestling provide to the matchup here? Nothing right now, as Axel seems to state. Look at those strikes there. There's a very strong amount of strikes by Johnny Gargano, but he's teetering on the apron now. Catches Axel first, back in the ring. Nice, very solid drop kick. Gargano now up top. Splash down onto Axel. The cover after it, hoping for a good win here over the tag team champs. Aries, for some reason, deciding to stand his ground for a second there. Perhaps felt as if there was no point in running in if all he was going to get was a big boot in the face by the Sicilian psychopath. Axel returned to the corner there, but didn't make the tag. Very interesting to see Instead, looking for something else here, something off the top rope. Might be looks like it's going to be a superplex incoming here. Down go both men. Aries on the outside, made sure, not to interfere, not to stand on the rope and make his tag team partner lose his balance. And now all of a sudden, Axel into it. Snapmare and a neck crank. Will he look for the turning heads right after it? Maybe so. Maybe Ciampa seemed to have some kind of idea in mind there. He ran all the way across the ring. It looked as if he wanted to take it there to Axel, but wasn't allowed the opportunity to do that. Axel now sends him into the turnbuckle, and oh god, German suplex for Gargano. Throwing even further away from his corner than he wants to be. Gargano may be in trouble here. Axel stuffed by Gargano. Spin kick in the gut. Here we go now. Johnny Gargano in position to plant down Axel. Will we see D.I.Y be able to revitalize their chance of picking up a monumental win over the tag team champs? We may do. Drop toe hold. Arm behind the head. And into the crossface goes Johnny Wrestling. Gargano looking for the tap out win. Aries remaining patient on the outside. Axel unable to move, but he is able to get himself out of it. Yes, need him in the back and in the head. If I was Ciampa right now, I would... Here we go, it's the tag made. In comes Tommaso Ciampa and misses the dropkick on his way in, though. All of a sudden, Axel able to slow the pace down slightly. Only for a moment, though. No, he's not. He's actually able to hold it for some time longer here. Against Tommaso Ciampa. There's a twisting neck breaker right there to send Ciampa down to the mat, but not for too long. Ciampa refuses to stay down. The King of the Ring finalist, the runner-up in that tournament, refusing to give in right now. And all of a sudden, after a few simple strikes, Tommaso Ciampa with ProJaked Ciampa onto one half of the tag team champs. Into the ring, rushes Gargano. Aries caught out. We get 3, and D.I.Y with a huge victory over the tag team champs. Well, there you have it. What a win that is. What an incredible win that is, really, for these two men. A win like that could see D.I.Y being next in line for a championship opportunity. Maybe if the Dirty Heels retain, or even if they don't. There you have it. The Dirty Heels defeated in their first matches, winning those tag team titles, and especially when it came to taking on the Authors of Pain, that was the last thing they wanted to happen. And especially with the impact of the maneuvers they took as well within that match, you gotta think that the Dirty Heels are going to be feeling some kind of pain heading into Sunday. And the Authors of Pain may just have their job made a whole lot easier when it comes to winning those tag team titles. We'll see what's going to happen on Sunday, but right now, Akira Tozawa is going to hold an open challenge. We'll see who's going to step up to the plate. I'm looking forward to seeing who the Cruiserweight Championship has to face. Cruiserweight Champion, that one. Alright, well, on his way will be the new Cruiserweight Champion, Akira Tozawa, who is getting ready, of course, for his championship matchup this Sunday against the winner of the Cruiserweight Classic in Suicide. Tozawa, who of course was a quarter-finalist within that tournament, and now heads into this matchup, getting ready to fight the winner of it. Very interesting affair, how the quarter-finalist is already the Cruiserweight Champion, and the winner of the Cruiserweight Cruiserweight Classic has to wait until this Sunday to get the opportunity of that title. May also be because we took a very long time to finish it, but we'll gloss over that. So anyway, Tozawa heads towards he's in the ring now. And he's just awaiting his opponents tonight. Who will step up to the plate? I'm thinking it's going to be Gregory Helms. I feel as if Helms will take the initiative, go for it, and try and get the win here. Oh my god. That is not the music of Gregory Helms. That's the music of the #1 contenders for the ECW Tag Team Championship. That is the theme of the Authors of Pain. Oh, good God. What has Tozawa got himself into? Well, he did say anyone could step up to the plate, and it certainly seems as if that anyone was taken literally. Akam and Razor heading towards the ring. Just a few short days away from challenger for the ECW Tag Team titles, but right now they have other things in mind, that being the destruction of the Cruiserweight Champion, Akira Tozawa. This is not going to be a fun affair for that man right there, but he is refusing to get out of the ring. Tozawa standing his ground, as we actually seen with everyone else, really. For whatever reason, no one likes to get out of the way. He's joined the Authors of Pain. No, he's not. He's given up now. Thought he was about to join it. He's joined it again. He's treating around in the background. One of these days. Maybe the Authors of Pain should just always come out first. We'll have stuff like this prevented. Akira Tozawa. Let's pretend. Oh, he's not just joined them. He's actually inside them now. Stunning scenes. Well, Tozawa not stepping down in this fight, but come on. Akam must weigh twice what Tozawa weighs easily. Tozawa only weighs like 160 pounds. Akam and Razor combined must absolutely dwarf Tozawa, but he's still fighting in this one. Why, I don't know. I would just save myself for the matchup this Sunday. I wouldn't bother with any kind of handicap match, least of all against these two men. But Tozawa continues to fight. He is going out of here against Akam to start things off, and that's already been brought to a very, very strong halt. Quickly rolling out of the way there, and Tozawa still trying to fight back for a moment, but one-armed spinebuster there by Akam. That could be the fate of the Dirty Heels this Sunday. Tozawa is a fighter. Tozawa will refuse to give in, but then again, he doesn't exactly help himself out by refusing to give in, especially in a situation such as this. Honor and integrity taking over common sense. I would have to say this is a stupid move by the Cruiserweight Champion. You wouldn't see the smart man of Seth Rollins doing this. You wouldn't see the fortitude that he has, the mindset that he has. You wouldn't see trying to think of someone else you wouldn't see the Bullet Club do this if they were a man down. Not as if the Bullet Club ever would be a man down, but if they were, they wouldn't fight on against two behemoths like these two men. They would just give in. They would realize that resistance is futile when it comes to the Authors of Pain, but Tozawa refuses to think that way. And that, right now, is costing him dearly. That may cost him the chance of retaining his Cruiserweight Championship this Sunday. Akam now with the Russian leg sweep. He's basically done all the work in this matchup. There's only one element left, and that's going to be the eventual tag into Razor. And as if Tozawa can even kick out of this. Okay, he does so. I think we're about to see it, surely. Yep, Tozawa's defenseless. He can't fight back against this. He is about to get flattened in an almighty fashion by the Authors of Pain. Tag made. Here we go. Razor steps into position and clattered with a big boot in the face. It shouldn't have happened to Tozawa, but he refused to step down, and this is what will happen. The Authors of Pain victorious in a short amount of time. Thankfully for Tozawa, his stupidity was only rewarded with a brief beatdown, but it was, regardless, at the hands of the Authors of Pain, who could be your next ECW Tag Team Champions. We'll just have to see what happens this Sunday. As Tozawa right now is kind of crumbling on the floor on the outside, Akam and Razor are just a few days away from already potentially winning those tag team titles. And I'm not going to diss. I'm not trying to go against the Dirty Heels in any way, shape or form, but just look at these two men and tell me that the Dirty Heels have a chance of standing up and fairly and completely cleanly defeating either of these two men. I don't think anyone is going to be able to put up a fair argument in response to that. So with that being said, we're going to head into our next contest now. A little bit of a calm down match, but still a good match between two overlooked talents, of course, as I said, since the draft took place. It's Neville and Sheamus. As I said when explaining this matchup, this is a tale, really, of two former close friends, two people aligned with one another to do one thing with one common goal, to end the NWO, and even before then, as members of Europe's finest. It was an interesting affair between Sheamus and Neville. Tag team champions, as I said, but that means nothing anymore to the Celtic Warrior, who over these last few months has certainly made it apparent to go after anyone and everyone, and is doing the same to Neville right now, flattening his former friend on the ramp. This matchup yet to get underway, but Neville's going to fight back. What I was about to say was Sheamus has been taking the fight to the Four Horsemen, really. We saw that take place not too long, actually, as after I was instated as ECW General Manager. Sheamus, however, now almost glossed over following that attack on the Four Horsemen, was defeated by Chris Jericho and was just unable to get any kind of a second opportunity, I suppose is what you'd say. And to be fair, this attack by Sheamus has heavily backfired on him. Looking at it, Neville has managed to keep Sheamus down. This may fire up Sheamus, though, further into the matchup. This may have got him even more annoyed at the former Cruiserweight champion. This matchup underway now, and Neville immediately fighting back. Elbow into the gut, and another crucifix to Sheamus. Sheamus there fighting back, though. Be interesting to see how either one of these men could build momentum. Of course, there are still two matches that we, actually, no, would they be? No, there is two matches that we don't have scheduled on the pay-per-view. Two matches that can really go to anyone on this roster. And if either one of these men get a win here tonight, we could see them on the show. Never know. I'm always looking to help out those who deserve it. And if Sheamus and Neville here put on a good showing and they're able to impress me enough, I think they may win me over to such an extent that you may see them on One Night Stand. But, you know, don't take what I say as a promise. You never know what may happen. Sheamus right now, though, all over Neville. Neville finally getting back up to his feet, but it was in vain, and it only lasted a few seconds. Kneed repeatedly into the gut there. You can only imagine the pain that you have to go through when it comes to the stiff knees that Sheamus brings to the table. But Neville responding with what looked like a few stiff elbows of his own there. Neville going to take flight here. What will we see from the man who... Oh! Never mind. I was about to say, what will we see from the man that gravity forgot? Nothing, apparently. But there's a knee in the head of Sheamus now. Can Neville get some kind of momentum running here? It seems so. Enough momentum to back suplex. The man who has about a 100-pound advantage on him. Corkscrew moonsault there to Sheamus. Could be the lead-in to the Red Arrow. Will Neville look for it? Will he take flight up to the top rope? He's continuing to put the boots right now onto Sheamus. Sheamus, though, able to fight it all off. And now, with him up on his shoulders, Sheamus going to look for white noise. And he delivers it down onto Neville. Both these men right now having hit their signature maneuvers. And look at Sheamus's. You saw with the Sheamus's stomps there onto Neville. Look at the difference between the two. Neville's were into the chest. You could see by the red mark left on Sheamus's chest. Neville, but whereas Sheamus's, which is on the head of Neville. That is basically almost like curb stomping someone. Not of course Seth Rollins' move, but actually physically curb stomping someone. Sheamus certainly heads into every match with the intent to cause pain and to cause a significant amount of injury to his opponent. But Neville is a risk taker, and Neville will look to do the same. Both men now with a superplex to the outside. Sheamus's leg almost colliding into the announce table there, as Neville with the power within him to pull off a move like that. Certainly showing that he's willing to get his name back out there on ECW. But it's Sheamus who somehow sends them back into the ring. It's Sheamus who somehow is still up on his feet. And it's Sheamus who is able, out of seemingly thin air, to nail a bro kick onto Neville for the 1, 2, 3. Sheamus wins in the blink of an eye. And with that being said, we will now potentially see Sheamus at One Night Stand. Dominant show in there by the Celtic Warrior. Who doesn't seem like he's done with Neville. Putting the stomps back onto him. The boots back into Neville right now. Oh, come on, Sheamus. We've seen you do this before. Enough is enough. You did this to nearly every member of the Four Horsemen. It is not acceptable to continue to do something like this, but Sheamus doesn't care. Irish curse backbreaker. The referee just has to stand there and watch as Neville is about to be tormented at the hands of Sheamus. Thrown up in the air for his fun and into a bro kick. Sheamus with no care for anyone but himself. And he is just soaking in the fact that the crowd absolutely despise him. Soaking in that negative reaction. Sheamus, I said it when he did it first time round. It attracts attention to him. And that attention may see him wind up on One Night Stand. Congratulations there to Sheamus for the win. And not too sure if I agree with his methods there of a post-match attack, but these things happen. Anyway, we're going to move on to our main event. What a main event it's going to be. Not only is Seth Rollins in it, but Seth Rollins is going to team up with someone who he gets to choose. And I already know who that someone is. And needless to say, it's a good choice. In fact, it's more than a good choice. Let's move on to our main event. Samoa Joe and AJ Styles against Seth Rollins and a partner of his choosing. Alright, well, after last week's controversial ending to ECW, I wouldn't even say it was the ending to ECW. You can't even say controversy. There was nothing controversial about anything that happened. Seth Rollins left his mark on this brand by laying out that man in the main event, 1, 2, 3, with no cheating whatsoever, no assistance, all by himself and his incredible ability within that ring. Not only did he lay out Samoa Joe, but he then went and laid out Seth Rollins beforehand, not as a way of making sure that Rollins was hurt heading into One Night Stand. Because if he wanted to make sure if Rollins wanted to make sure Styles was hurt heading into One Night Stand, he'd let him do his match against Braun Strowman. Seth Rollins did not do it as a tactical move to hurt AJ Styles, but rather the game of human chess, proceeding to take another move. Seth Rollins dealt a major blow to AJ Styles when he got that attack on him backstage. AJ Styles tried to retaliate at the end of the show, but it was in vain. He couldn't even get his phenomenal forearm off before Seth Rollins, even after that incredible main event against Samoa Joe, was able to roll out of the ring and quickly escape through his undying and the caring fans that represent him. They represented him so much they had their arms around him. They wanted to hold on to Rollins. They were almost protecting Rollins as a shield from this man AJ Styles. They knew what Styles would do, and they wanted to make sure that Seth Rollins was protected. Nevertheless, AJ Styles heads towards the ring right now. Only a few days away from challenging for that ECW Championship in the main event, a One Night Stand. AJ Styles, of course, returned to ECW in the draft, the brand where he won his only World Championship. And now he looks to capture it once more. But however, like I said, you've got to go against the Architect. You've got to go against Seth Rollins. You've got to go against the man right now who in this game of human chess is indefinitely one move ahead of the phenomenal one. That being said, I still think this main event this Sunday is going to be incredible. I think it's going to be able to outdo Bobby Fish and Shinsuke Nakamura. I said it, and I mean it. I think it's going to be able to outdo that show. Why? This man. That's all I need to say. It's why we are the A show. It's why this show brings in the ratings and brings in the money. Because we have him. Seth Rollins is the man. Not just of ECW. Not just when it comes to being a champion, but in general. Seth Rollins is the man. I call Bobby Fish one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But all around, in every aspect imaginable, Seth Rollins is the greatest of all time. While he may not have the wrestling experience of a Bobby Fish, that's okay. Because Seth Rollins has that one thing, that mind of his, that architectural mind that built the Shield, that brought them to their success, that rebuilt ECW the first time around, and now here Rollins is again. Finally back to the top where he belongs to be, and once more redesigning, rebuilding, and reclaiming this brand. And who deserves to be the partner of someone like Rollins? Only the glorious one, Bobby Roode. I said it was more than a good choice. It's because it's a glorious choice. It's the choice. Bobby Roode is without a doubt the man, the glorious man. These two men right here just epitomize everything there is to that you need. You need the mind and the technical savvy of Seth Rollins, but you need the confidence. You need to be able to strut what you've got, and no man does that better than the glorious one, Bobby Roode. His own theme is enough to epitomize what kind of a man he is. He is not a man who cares about the fans like AJ Styles. He is not a man who tries to come across as a bit of a tough guy like Samoa Joe. Bobby Roode is Bobby Roode. There is no care about the fans. There is no care about coming across as a tough guy. Bobby Roode just wants to let you remember that he is glorious. And he is everything you want and desire to be in life, but will never, ever get the opportunity to be. That's why there was only one choice for Seth Rollins as a tag team partner. Well, here we go. We're going to start things off with a rematch from last week. Joe and Rollins to square it off in this one. A little bit of a safe start between both men right now. Joe getting ready, of course, for the insane match between himself and Braun Strowman this Sunday. That match I would like to reveal is going to be, without a doubt, no holds barred, no disqualification. I think it may even go as far as being false count anyway, because there is no way Joe and Strowman are going to stay in that ring. Matter of fact, yes, it is going to be a false count anyway match between these two, because I do not want to let Strowman and Joe's match be decided in the ring. It can be decided up on the ramp. It can be decided in the crowd. It can be decided backstage. I don't care. All I care about... Oh, nice. Well, there's Rollins attacking the referee. Rollins adding himself to that namesake now, but all I care about is watching those two men kill one another for the benefit of everyone. For the benefit of watching two just machines going to war. What a matchup that is going to be. And hopefully we get to see Bobby Roode on that show as well. That one will be a fun one to witness. Rollins looking for the Seth Walker. Nails it there onto Joe. A little bit of a shaky start by both sides. Neither guy in the ring right now able to get off to an absolute crisp start like they wanted. But here we go. Tag made. In comes Bobby Roode. And oh, nice work there to slam him back into the turnbuckle. Cover here by Roode immediately upon making it into the ring. Hoping for a quick win. Not to be. Just the one count. Bobby Roode, though, is going up top, actually. What can we see here from the glorious one? He's going to take flight. Oh, no. Misses a big splash opportunity. Roode reeling slightly from it, and now Joe is going to have his way with him. No, he's not. He's going to make the tag into Styles, the #1 contender for the ECW Championship, in the ring. Though not against Styles as he probably would have wanted. But instead going to get his hands on Bobby Roode. Jawbreaker there though by Styles, who looks to go to work now on the former Intercontinental and WWE Champion. Roode raining down punches onto the head of AJ Styles now. What a main event this is. Look at the quality we possess here on this brand. Look at the talent we have. Our main event has 4 former world champions in it, one the current ECW champion in it, and possesses 4 of the greatest wrestlers alive today. Apparently Samoa Joe and AJ Styles are some of the greatest wrestlers alive today. I'm joking. I actually know they're great talents. I just don't like them as people. It's the same as Diamond Dallas Page, wherever the hell he still is. Still wailing somewhere, still crying himself to sleep every night as he has to realize that ECW was never going to be his, was never meant to be his. Even if he thought he had a right to it, it was always going to belong to Seth Rollins. Bobby Roode, meanwhile, still fighting back time and time again here. And now we're going to get a precursor to this Sunday. Tag made. In comes Rollins. And now Rollins and Styles are going to get it on. A few days before their ECW Championship matchup. This is interesting now. To see who can gain momentum heading into this Sunday. Right now, Styles more than holding his own. Fireman's carry neck breaker. The phenomenal one. Looking to go up top here. Fortunately, it was all in vain for him, really. As now, Seth Rollins taking it to AJ Styles on the floor. And Styles trying to recover here. Seth Rollins, though, I thought he maybe go for the Phoenix Splash. Rollins has something else in mind. Rollins has another incredible move in mind there. Meteora off the top rope. Double knees. To the quote-unquote phenomenal one. Now just going to work on the neck here. Wrenching on it. Making sure that AJ Styles is in an insurmountable level of pain. While also recovering, but Styles is able to fight back here. Rollins does not care though about that. He stops in his place. And now for his troubles. Face first into the turnbuckle. Styles running away from the threat of Seth Rollins. Running away from the fact that he knew Rollins had his number right there and then. Literally running away. Look at him now. Making the tag into Samoa Joe. What a weakling he is. Running away from the man he's supposed to be facing. It's a good thing this Sunday it's going to be a one-on-one match and there's no running for AJ Styles. Of course, you know he would love to do that against Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, though, now with Samoa Joe in place. Oh, the super kick in the face. The Avara Kedavra. Joe may be in trouble. Oh, no, this is Samoa Joe we're talking about, actually. He just bats off that hit and, well, let's just keep going. The steam train goes to work once more. Chop in the back. Kick in the chest. Rollins sent crumbling down there onto the floor as a result of those devastating strikes by Samoa Joe. In the turnbuckle, but Rollins counters. Got him here with a nice strike. Thought he might even go for the Architect's Annihilation there temporarily. Has him up for a suplex. Samoa Joe has none of it though. And now going to work on the ECW champion once more. Planting him down there with a move. Almost exactly the same as the one we see from Braun Strowman. Styles wants to tag back in here. He may just get it, it seems. In the turnbuckle. Big boot in the face. Styles not going to get that tag that he wanted. Instead, seems as if Joe still wants to fight against the Architect. Still wants to right the wrong from last week, where he suffered the deserving loss to Seth Rollins. Bobby Roode just kind of stuck watching on the outside right now. Here we go. We may actually see Roode get in the ring here. Yes, we are. Tag made. Back in comes the Glorious One, and a return to this move. Oh! Samoa Joe's back crashing there. It's almost an exact repeat. Cover here onto Samoa Joe, but he powers his way out at one. Styles tried to cheat for a second there. As a matter of fact, AJ Styles is cheating unnecessarily attacking Bobby Roode right now. Come on, ref. Get a handle on the men in this matchup. Disgusting referee in there as AJ Styles has enabled an opportunity for Samoa Joe to get back in it. Should not have happened at all there. Referee unable to take control of this matchup. Unable to force an intervention or anything. Just watched on. And nasty back superplex there. Bobby Roode still able to fight on. The glorious one still going, but somehow Samoa Joe is fighting back. And the same can be said though. Oh, come on, Styles, really? Wow. Talk about an ego. AJ Styles tags himself into this one, much to, I imagine, the chagrin of Samoa Joe, who actually sends both men down temporarily. And of course the referee immediately started to count out Samoa Joe there. AJ Styles may have pissed off the wrong man right there, and he rights that wrong quickly by tagging Joe back into the matchup. AJ Styles saving himself from a, not only, well, you know, he's not exactly saving himself from an ass whooping, a one-night stand, but he also saved himself from one here tonight at the hands of Samoa Joe. Great elbow drop by Roode, as Samoa Joe continues to look for that Irish whip into the turnbuckle, and each time Roode knows he's going for it. He's able to be aware of what Joe wants, and he's able to counter it. Look at that. Oh, look at the confidence there. That is the epitome of a man who is not only confident, but is able to back it up in every single sense of the word. Countered the spinebuster there. Samoa Joe managed to. Can Bobby Roode fight on? No. No. Roode might be in trouble. Samoa Joe has him up on his shoulders. Muscle buster to the glorious one. That could be the fate. Oh. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where the hell did Braun Strowman come from? Strowman attacking Joe. Getting the jump on Joe. Everyone else is gone. Everyone else has disappeared. So all of a sudden, Braun Strowman leaving a mark on Samoa Joe before their match this Sunday. Braun Strowman was supposed to be at the Wyatt complex, just attacking Joe before their match. This match thrown out the window. Braun Strowman stands atop before one night stand.